Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can update an asset through Orchestrator API calls via Postman. So if you're jumping into this video for the first time and watching my channel for the first time, I would suggest you just go to my channel and watch the complete playlist if you wanted to learn complete Orchestrator API via Postman. So how you can go to my channel? You can either check for the link here. I'll just link this particular playlist over here. And also, if you wanted to check out other videos on my channel, just type Harika Modium on Google page or on YouTube page. You will find my channel over there, and these are all the different playlists that you can find on my channel. So just redirect to the playlist page, and you can see there are multiple playlists that you can actually watch and learn from my videos. So if you wanted to learn more about API automation and everything, there is a complete playlist for it which you can learn in just 1 hour. And also there is a complete Orchestrator API Postman, and the next one is Orchestrator API HTTP request. So in this video, I am going to talk about how we can actually update an asset, right? So as usually how we are doing by using the connector guide. So I'm just gonna copy this particular endpoint. Just copy the endpoint and go to your Postman. So this is my Postman. I'm gonna take a new request. Okay, just copy that particular endpoint. So what you have to do here, we have to update the asset, right? So what is the method, exact method that we have to use in order to update this asset that is already existing or we have already created in the orchestrator? So for that, just check the connector guide. If you see here, it's a put method, right? So just change this to put. And what else we need to change? As usual, just get the your orchestrator tenant id, I mean tenant url. So if you have already watched the previous videos, this is the same drill that we were doing. So you might be familiar by this time with all the main things that we have to provide in to get the response. But if you're watching for the first time, then definitely you have to watch the previous videos to get the basics strong. So once after that is done, this is a what is this exactly? So let me just delete it and I'll replace it with the exact value that needs to go in there. So just go, let's go step by step. Okay, so what is it? I just gave the endpoint, and after that I have to provide in the authorization. So what is the authorization that we were following till now is the barrier token, right? So just go in and take the barrier token. As we are using the same collection, we don't have to provide in every time. The automatic barrier token will be saved over here. But if you're doing it for the first time, you have to get the barrier token, you have to add in over here. So that is mandatory in order to do the authorization. So we are good with authorization as well. After that, we have to provide in the headers. So what are the headers that we have to provide? Content type is JSON, so that's no need to provide. So just take this particular organization unit ID. So from where we can get this organization unit ID? This is the header, right? So you have to provide in the value here. So this is particularly representing the folder where you wanted to make the changes of that particular asset. So now it's time to go back to your orchestrator. And if you see in the default folder, I have 6 assets, right? So in this 6 assets, what is the exact thing that I wanted to change? So let's, for that particular folder you wanted to take. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna change something with respect to modern folder. So ID which is corresponding to modern folder, I have to pick that ID. So what exactly I'm doing, how you will get that ID? So we have already done a video where we have got all the IDs of the folders that are there in your orchestrator. So let me go to that. So this is that request, right? So we got all the, these are all the folders and these are the IDs, right? So what I'm going to do, let's just pick one folder. This is default. So I wanted to take for the modern folder. So this is my modern folder ID. Okay, so I wanted to place in the modern folder ID here. Let's delete this extra spaces and everything. Okay, so this is my modern folder ID. And what else you have to provide in? So here we have provided the organization unit ID, and what is the content that you wanted to provide, that is also important. So just take the body of this and go to your Postman, and here in the body click on the raw, and here you have to provide. So previously if you see, and in the header we haven't added the json, but here I'm changing the type of the body to json. So here these are the different values that I have to provide in. And also what is the most important thing that you have to remember here is the name of the asset that you wanted to update. So if you just see, what is the asset that I'm already having here is a Caesar 2, right? So I wanted to change, let's say this is the asset that I wanted to change. Okay, so in that case, what I have to do, I have to provide in the name of the asset. Okay, this is my asset. And what are the, these are the parameters. Okay, so let's go in and see what is the value. So if you see, this is E2 asset 2, correct? E2 asset 3. So I wanted to change this to this value, and it's of type text. And also what is the one more thing that you have to observe? ID. Here you have to provide the ID of that particular folder. Okay, so here how can I provide the ID? So the ID that is corresponding to the asset. So in the previous video, I have shown you how to get all the assets, right? So just check out that video if you don't have the IDs handy with you, and if you don't know how to get all the IDs. So in that video, we have clearly seen. So this is the particular asset that is there in that folder, and this is the ID corresponding to that, right? So what I'm going to do, Caesar 2 is the asset and the ID corresponding to that. So I'm going to pick this particular ID. Okay, so organization, don't get confused here, we have two different IDs. Organization unit ID is the ID corresponding to the folder. Okay, and the ID that you have to provide in the body here is the ID that is corresponding to the asset. Okay, just paste that value over there, and once after that is done, just cross check with the input that you are providing here. This is my put value, right? So this is the asset that is corresponding to that. And also if you see this value, they have provided over here as well. So just come in here and paste this value, right? So that is the value that you have to provide. So now what is what's the change that you have to see? This is the name of the asset, and this is the value that you have to provide in. And if you just observe here, we have Caesar 2 and it is E2 asset 2, right? So let's update this to asset 3, or just say like updated asset, just for our convenience. Okay, just click on send, and you can see 200 is the response code, which is success, right? So now just go to your orchestrator, just refresh this and see, this is a updated asset, right? So this is how you can actually change the asset. So what are the other things that you can actually change with respect to the assets that you have it over here? So just come and see. So you can just change the asset name as well, text and the value. So you can what are the parameters that you already have it over here? You can do changes for everything. So if you wanted to change this to integer, you can even do that. You can change the value of the global to value per robot, and the ID that you wanted to from for which particular asset you wanted to do the changes. So now let's understand it more clearly. So let's say if I wanted to apply these changes for the assets that are there in the classic folder, that means default folder. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's pick the default folder. And what is the folder ID? So I wanted to make changes for this one. So let's say Caesar only. Okay, or let's add one more asset, or let's check Caesar. So for Caesar, so what is the folder ID? First I should change the folder ID over here. For that I am gonna get the folder ID, which is the default folder, this one, and I'll just change it over here. Okay, once after that is done, in the body I have to provide in the ID of the asset, right? So go to the assets, where here, right? So in, I first have to get the asset that is corresponding to this particular folder. So how can I do that? In the previous video you have all seen how we have done that. Let's change the value of the folder, right? We've got 6 assets, and I wanted to make changes to Caesar. So just get the ID of Caesar alone. So this is the, okay, this is skip training, extractor training. Let's pull this a little bit up. Okay, this is the Caesar one, right? So this is my ID for that particular asset. Just change it over here and also here. Now we can see that Caesar 3 is the name of the asset, and the updated asset is the value of the asset that gets changed in the asset that's already existing in the default folder. So if we initially we were having this one, just refresh this, it got updated. So this is how you can actually do updating the actually existing assets in a particular folder with respect to the ID corresponding to the ID of that particular asset. Okay, so I hope this video is useful for you, and if you are not familiar with API automation or any of the concepts of the automation, just check out the videos. I have mentioned you how you can check out the content on my channel, and there's a lot of videos that are coming up. So to not miss any of the videos, do subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification button so you'll get the videos as soon as I upload them. Thank you so much for watching.